let's put in a base of G43. I'm just going to put it a little bit on. I'm not going to put it on the whole cap. All right, just a hint of green underneath. And we're going to go quite dark. So let's go E44 for our caps. Some of them I'm going to leave that green visible. Some of them I'm going to go over it. It will cast a slight green shadow underneath that ink. Don't forget the stems. Depends on how many layers of color. Copics are transparent, which means you can see colors through other colors. So be aware of that. You can always try this on a scrap piece of paper first too and see if you like the look of that green undertone. Maybe you don't want to put that green in there. Let's go even darker in E47. I'm going to come in, I think, and do maybe a greener stem on that little fella. Completely up to you as to how you color in. There is no right, there is no wrong. It's your image, your card, your creation. So do what makes you happy. Don't have to follow my rules or anybody else's. I'm going to go back and add a green stem. Go over this one with a little bit of our G43 again. That'll bring back that green cast because it's sitting kind of on top. There we go. And let's go a little tiny bit darker just for some of the shadows. So just wherever something overlaps it or the way it's sitting, just a tiny bit of shadows in there. There we go. All right, let's go on to our fuzzy little squirrel kitty. So cute. Squirrels come in a lot of different colors, so I'm just trying to think what I'm going to go and reference. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, so I looked at my reference and we're going to kind of go with an orangey kind of undertone. So we're going to start with a E11 base. Now, like I said, squirrels come in many different colors. I grew up on a wooded lot and we saw many a different colored squirrel and even multiple colored squirrels. I had family that lived in Exeter, Ontario, which they are known for their white squirrels, which are very, very rare. And I've had the opportunity to see in person. So the sky's the limit. Heck, you can even have a purple squirrel. It's whatever you kind of want to do with your own coloring. And I'm going to start with his body. I'm going to leave his tail till last because I may decide to do a darker tail or a lighter tail. I'm not quite sure yet. Just putting in our base coat of E11 here. Make sure to get all of his body and his paws in here. Okay, I'm going to go in and do his ears too before I forget. Okay, E11. I'm going to go E13. and start to put in some shape and shadow. There we go. You can get really creative with your coloring. I mean, animals have spots and dots and freckles and all kinds of fun things. So have a ball at coloring in all these super duper cute and fun images. I'm going to leave his belly a little bit lighter, but I am going to go and put in shadows underneath those acorns. Okay, getting closer here. Gonna go E15, of course. I mean, it's easy when you have color families that are all lined up in that Copic chart. I use Sandy Allnock's hex chart. It is a game changer. If you are a colorist with Copic markers, go and download Sandy's amazing hex chart. It's a couple of bucks US, but in the end, it's so worth it. It may take you a couple of days to get it all colored in, but it's so worth it. All right, continuing to deepen some of our areas. Putting in a little bit of our shadow, darkening those. Okay, so I'm actually going to go back all the way to my E11 now. And I'm going to just make sure that everything blends. I'm going to kind of pull our darker color up into his ears and just kind of smoothing things out. I'm okay if it lightens a little bit more, because obviously an E11 versus an E15 or an E17 is going to have a lot more blender solution in it, so be aware that you could add some streaks. You could lighten an area that you thought was dark, so just be aware. All right, he's looking cute. I'm going to do underneath his eyes just a tiny bit. Doop, doop, doop. Just kind of into his nose. All right, I'm going to go in and add a little bit more shadow with an E17 just underneath those acorns. And underneath his paws too. Add a little to his toes. Maybe to his bum. There. All right. Actually, let's add just a tiny, tiny bit of shadow color. Kind of behind them too, because they are going to cast a shadow onto his face, little at the base of his ears. And heck, let's go dark for his tail. Okay, so this is my E17, so I haven't changed markers. We're going for a dark tail. I've seen some really funny looking tails on some of the ones that were in our wooded backyard. We had this one squirrel that was like brown, and he had this black undertail, and then the ends of his hairs were almost white, and so he looked like he had a bristle for a butt. He was so cute. All right, so this is E18. We're going to in and darken his tail. I'm just flicking. I'm going to color the base of his tail quite dark. Let's see, how am I going to do transition this here? I'm just going to do a little bit of flicking where his tail kind of curls up. I'm going to do some kind of flicking with the curvature of his tail here. Sort of kind of making it look hairy. Okay, I'm going to go back to my E17 and I'm just going to smooth it out in color, just so it's the transition is a little bit blended here. It's not too bad. I'm just going to do a touch of E19 just back underneath his tail and around his behind his head and his body. Now there is an area here that is very much the same color, where his tail kind of goes in front of the stump. I'm not even going to worry about it right now. Not an issue. So let's go in and put a little bit more brightness. We want to bring in some greens and maybe draw in some fake leaves and give these guys a little tiny bit more color. So I'm going to go in and start a background. I'm actually going to do, this is BG10, and I'm just going to go around them. So this isn't a blue, this is in the blue-green family. Now I'm trying not to touch any of that brown with the tip of my marker, because I could transfer it out into where I don't want it. I'm just going around them. I am going to give them a little bit of a backdrop here. So just outlining, that's all I'm doing. It makes for a really simple touch of a background. I'm just going to flick up from the grass. Maybe flick up just a little bit in between them. I'm going to put a backdrop, so I'm going to give them kind of a horizon line sort of there, which is kind of across from the stump. So I may come back to this. I'll put this down for a second. Let's go in and do some grass. I'm going to go different. Usually I go really, really bright, but because this is more autumn, I'm going to go a little bit more subdued. So I've got a YG63. Just going to go in and put down a base. If this were in the woods, there'd be lots of other stuff on the ground, but you know, make it your own design. Putting a base in. This doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just getting color down, doing that grass back there. And underneath his toes, so cute. Okay, going in. I'm moving my markers here. Just giving them a place to hang out, because nothing is worse than having something kind of hanging there and looks like they're floating. And I don't know about you, but I've never seen a floating squirrel or a floating raccoon on a stump. All right. Like I said, doesn't have to be perfect. La-di-da-di-da. Bringing that out to the edge. Okay. Let's go in and add a little bit of shadows. I'm going to dapple this. So I'm just kind of using the tip to add kind of almost dots and spots to anything that is sitting on the ground. I'm going to add some kind of layers. Just adding some shading. You can be super creative. Dots, spots. Like I said, doesn't have to be perfect. And you can always go in and blend anything. Now, I think this cardstock is it's quite nice for blending, because it does have kind of a sheen to it. I'm going to go in with a YG99 and add just a little bit of darker detail here and there. You could also do some flicking to indicate grass. It's whatever you kind of want to do. I'm just trying to use a little bit of this color all over, even if it's just a little bit of speckling, just so it's not just in one area. I'm dispersing it. I'm going to go in and add a little bit of brighter. So this is a YG67. And I think what I may do is highlight some of our grassy, spiky areas. So you don't have to do everything. I may put a little bit of our own over here. And I may just distribute this again, not in just one area. There we go. It's a little bit brighter, so it makes things pop a little bit better. So you can go in and layer colors. My favorite green is the YG001. It's very, very limey, but it's my favorite color, especially in spring images, because it's so light and bright, and it's kind of like a new leafy color. So again, I'm just trying to darken, smooth out some of our areas that are going to be in shadow. This, I mean, coloring is all about experimentation. It really is. There's no right, there's no wrong. One person is not going to like this green combo, and another person is going to go, oh, that's, that's great. I love that color combo. So do what makes you happy. Color for you. Don't even listen to anybody and say, oh, well, my favorite colors are this, this, and this. Well, you pick them. It's your card, your coloring. Okay, I'm going to go in and do a little bit more work on our background here. So this is a BG11. This is one step darker than that BG10 that we started with. flick up from our grass here. I'm debating whether to do any more in our background here or just leave it. I haven't decided yet. Flicking up from our grass. And I'm okay that I have touched the grass because it's brought a little bit of green up into our background here, and I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm playing now. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do for the background. I mean, my card's about fall, so I really could have put in some soft fall colors like reds and yellows and oranges and stuff in the background, like there was a fall tree line, but I'm not going to do that today. I am going to go in, I think, and put another kind of faux hill in the background. So I've got a BG93, so this is kind of a desaturated green, and I'm just going to put in a background that's kind of muted. And now that I've done that, you know what I really want to do? I want to put some rows of pine trees just in the distance. So I've still got my BG93, and I'm going to put some tree line. I just dance that tip back and forth, and it gives you these cute little evergreens. They're one of the easiest things to kind of fake in the background versus something like a maple tree or something like that. That would be, could be any shape. I just make dancing evergreens. Yeah. And because this is muted color and a desaturated color, I'm going to put the tips of some kind of in between here. There we go. It looks like it's in the distance because something that's in the distance is not as bright as something that would be in your foreground. Okay, so if you're doing a background and it's far, far, far in the distance, then you want to use desaturated or more grayed out color tones because that's what would be in the background. Okay, so there's our faux little tree line. I'm happy with that. So it's not like super busy, but there you go. Okay, I'm gonna do one more thing. I think I'm gonna add some colored touches to their eyes. So I think I might go I'm gonna go blue. So the little squirrel. Now you could also make him a chipmunk too. Just color him a little bit differently, give him more stripes, because you very much could make him into a chipmunk. So I'm just putting a touch of color around their pupils, okay, to give them a colored iris. And I'm kind of liking that. We're going to go in with this is a fine Jelly Roll pen. This is a 05. Now, I have troubles getting my tip going, so what I do is I warm it up on the back of my hand. And of course, my fine point is going to be ornery today. There we go. What it does is it gets the tip warm and gets the ink flowing. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of a shine line on each of their noses. I'm also going to put a little dot of reflection in their eyes, and I'm going to fake it because I colored I had a little bit of seepage of ink into those whites, so I'm just going to color them back in. And I think we're done. Yeah. So there's our little fall scene. Happy fall, y'all. And I'm going to share a finished card at the end. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I appreciate that you've come to view my video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.